Now, people, I know sometimes I say some illogical things, and sometimes I do have some crazy ideas, and I've realized that. But when it comes to my pro rel thoughts and my pro rel belief, you really gotta just take into consideration. Austin is at the top of the Western Conference, not the top of the West Conference. Austin is at the top of the MLS because there is no pro rel system. Now, why I say that? Because if there was a pro rel, Austin would have got relegated last year. Austin would have been playing in a second tier league this season. Austin would not have improved. Austin probably would have gone out of business after last season if they would have got relegated. But because there is no pro rel system, you have a young team like Austin that has the ability to turn into a legitimate professional franchise in less than 5 years. If there was a pro rel, we wouldn't be watching the evolution of Austin. If there was a pro rel, we wouldn't be witnessing the rise of Austin right now. You want to know another team that we wouldn't see evolve and be great right now or good right now? LAFC. LAFC missed the playoffs last year. That means they would have got relegated this year. And we wouldn't see all these good free agent signings like the Garrett Bale and the Shalini and the Kellen Acosta and the Max Crepeau and the Ryan Hollished. We wouldn't see any of that right now if there was a pro rel in the MLS. So this Austin is showing us, this year Austin is showing us why the MLS is better without a pro rel. It hasn't been 2 full seasons. It's been 1.5 seasons, and Austin is already up there with the big boys. It's been 1.5 seasons, and Austin is already turning into a heavyweight. Now, I'll more so say lightweight, because you can't be a heavyweight without championships. But they're trending. They're trending towards that direction. Austin is the Supporters Shield leader. And I'm telling you, if Austin can win a Supporters Shield and an MLS Cup championship within the same year, we should consider them we should consider allowing them to enter heavyweight status. This game that I watched on Tuesday, they didn't beat some ordinary MLS team. Houston is a veteran. Houston has been around much longer than Austin. Houston is a legitimate veteran club. And they dominated Houston. After Houston scored that first goal, Austin said, "Oh, hell no. We're not giving this team that's at the bottom of the Western Conference hope. They're going to have to get their hope from somebody else, but they're not going to get it from us." Austin quickly responded within like 4 minutes, within less than 5 minutes. I believe Houston scored in like the 11th minute, and then Austin scored like 14th minute. But both teams scored within 15 minutes. Austin is the new front runner for the 2022 Supporters Shield. And they don't have the kind of star power that LAFC has. This proves another thing about the greatness of the MLS not having a pro rel. Because Austin is showing us that you don't need a bunch of free agent superstars to be really good. All you need is a solid foundation, a solid front office, a solid coaching staff, and players that buys into the system. And that's what Austin is showing us. The MLS is better without a pro rel. And now Austin has emerged as not only the face of the Western Conference, but they have emerged as the face of the MLS. They're putting teams like LAFC and Seattle on notice. Speaking of such, two of the MLS face, the two MLS heavyweights, are in legitimate danger of missing the playoffs. And I don't think these two teams realize that they are. Because these two teams are not really playing with a sense of urgency. They believe that, well, years in the past, we were able to make a run, and that run got us into the playoffs. But I don't think they realize that this is a new MLS. That the MLS from the early 2000s is not the same. It's not the same MLS from the early 2000s. It's not the same MLS from the Twins. This MLS in the 2020s is an MLS that is good from top to bottom. From top to bottom, there is competition. It's not like La Liga and these other big 5 European leagues where there's only 2 or 5 teams that's really good and everybody else is just below average. That's what the MLS used to be. But because there's no pro rel, and teams have a legitimate chance to improve their roster, the league has evolved. And it's evolving right before Seattle and LA Galaxy's eyes. And they have not realized that yet. And I have to admit, because I was one of those guys, I've been one of those guys who said that the Sounders will be all right, that they'll bounce back. They've done it before, and they'll do it again. But the MLS is proving me wrong. The Western Conference is proving me wrong. You got a team like Nashville, who was a serious contender in the East last year, and a team that I did say a couple monologues back, they were going to make the Western Conference even tougher. And they showed us last night. Nashville showed us last night. Nashville went toe-to-toe for 90 minutes, 90 straight minutes from the start of the game all the way to the end of the game. They went toe-to-toe with the Continental Champion. Seattle, every game you play this season from here on out, teams are going to give you their all. They're going to give you their all. You're the Continental Champion. You're not going to have any easy matches for the rest of this season. That's the cause of being the champion. When you are the champion, when you are at the top, teams are going to go after you. As for LA Galaxy, you cannot rely on Chicharito to carry you throughout the season. You can't. The man is in his mid-30s. He's not 23 years old. He's not 28 years old. The man is in his mid-30s. It has to be a collective effort for y'all to get anywhere. If you guys are really hoping and relying that Chicharito is going to carry you to the MLS Cup Championship, you guys are in big trouble. The role players, the sidekicks got to step it up. Even without Chicharito, LA Galaxy, you still should have beaten San Jose. There's no reason why you should have lost to San Jose, regardless of Chicharito not being in the match.